we accidentally went live. I don't know how it happened, but we went live, and I was sitting down there talking. It was just this like screen that you see here, and one of my buddies texts me, and he goes, "Hey, you're live right now." I'm like, no, we're not.
Fantastic.
He goes, yes, we are.
Like,
okay.
I love it when that happens.
Yeah, it's awesome. So, I don't know. All right, we are live. SHOT Show 2023. I'm here with Caleb Giddings of Taurus. Still sounds weird to say.
It does. I imagine it does sound weird. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, and I don't think if people who knew me in the industry had picked a company that I was going to land with.
Last one.
Probably, yeah. Maybe that or Charter Arms.
That would be another good one. But Taurus, like, and there's a reason why the switch. And you were I don't want to say too critical, but you were.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, working on the media side of things, I'd always banked my reputation on being honest with people about how I felt about a product, sometimes to a fault. Maybe sometimes I should have been
a lot of times to a fault.
Maybe sometimes I should have been a little less aggressive with how I felt about products. But the move with Taurus, it really started when Brett came over from Walther.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So when Brett, because I've known Brett for years and years, and when he came over from Walther, to me that was a sign.
Yeah.
Right. And then they brought me on initially as a consultant 2 years ago to work on the project that would eventually become the executive grade revolvers. So I consulted on that project, and the feedback that we got, the response from the engineers, from the people that actually build the guns, I was very much expecting that meeting to be oppositional, right?
Oh, yeah.
For me to go in and say, here's what you need to do. And we had a bunch of other people there. I wasn't the only voice in the room. And we all kind of expected it to be us saying, here's what you need to do, and them saying no. And what they said was, oh, that's really good feedback.
Did it kind of throw you for a loop when you're sitting there and they go, we really appreciate you coming in, and we're going to implement that?
It did.
That doesn't happen.
No, and I was pleasantly surprised. And then when they launched the executive grade, and it was like literally, so that meeting, what the revolver guys in the room said was, they asked us, what do you want in like a defensive revolver? And we said 3 inches, 38 special, 6 shots, double action only. And then they made that gun.
Right.
Like, they made the gun we asked for, and we were all like, what's happening? I'm confused and afraid.
This is not the Taurus we know.
And it wasn't, and that was the cool thing about it. So then Cody also came over from Walther. And I didn't know Cody before that, but we knew a lot of, like, the same people. Yeah. So, I called around and, like, is this dude legit? And everybody was like, Cody's awesome. He's super legit. And so that was what really prompted me to be like, all right, let's take this leap. Let's see what happens. And the products that we are making today are the best products Taurus has ever made. Like, hands down.
Well, not only that, but you look at the customer service that Cody and Brett have brought in. They're building quite a team over there, and he really said, we went and toured their new facilities, gorgeous facilities.
Oh, it's huge.
My gosh, doing so much for the community. But when we looked at it, he was like, well, this is kind of our customer service area. There weren't a lot of guns on the floor.
No, there really aren't. I talk to our repair manager on a pretty regular basis. Our average turnaround time for a gun that comes in is under 48 hours from the time it hits our desk to it going back out to the customer.
No kid.
Yeah, 100%. And then also most of the guns that come in are older guns.
Right.
So we're not seeing a lot of like the new stuff come back. So we're really happy about the way things are going with customer service and repair. And we're also really happy, obviously, about being where we are in Bainbridge as well. You talk about community improvements. Bainbridge has a Chick-fil-A now because of us. So there's your community improvement right there. There's a Chick-fil-A.
Hey, anytime a Chick-fil-A comes to town, it's booming.
Absolutely.
It's fact. But Taurus is bringing out a lot of new stuff, and a lot of the stuff we're going to talk about today is kind of you had a lot of influence on a lot of this stuff, because give them your Instagram page, because that's where I think you do some of your best work.
Okay. So if you guys want to follow me on Instagram, it's at Radicaleb. Like, if you take the word radical and then put my name, kind of mash it up with my name, Caleb, Radicaleb, at Radicaleb on Instagram.
And he is doing some amazing stuff. I mean, the drills that you run, you're always shooting.
That's the thing, like with Taurus, and that we're trying to do is we're trying to have people who actually shoot these guns have a word in what's coming out, right? So I take these guns and I'm trying to push them to the extreme edge of their performance envelope and see what happens with them. So so that's where I'm at on Instagram. If you're more of a Facebook guy, you can just search for Caleb Shooting, and that'll pop me up on Facebook. People can follow me there as well.
Give him a follow. We are brought to you by Palmetto State Armory today. Thanks for joining in. Don't forget, guys, I'm going to run by the Taurus booth and grab a lot of stickers to throw in the giveaway. So if you comment, you're entered to win. We're going to announce it Friday. But you've got new guns. We don't have them here because they won't make it out of the booth because people are picking them up too much. And looking at them. Your booth is swamped. So we don't have them here, but we got a lot of pictures. But we're going to run down. Let's start big.
Okay, so we're going to start big. So we had 2 big launches this year on the hunting side.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we did was we actually rolled out Taurus Hunt as a brand that's sort of internal to Taurus. Okay. So we have like the executive grade, that's its own line, right? And then now we have Taurus Hunt, that's its own line as well. And the first part of that was we added 500 Magnum to the Taurus Raging Hunter calibers.
Jeez.
So we've had the Raging Hunter for years. It's won like a gajillion awards, you know.
Extremely popular.
Super popular, built like a tank, and people have always been saying, well, give us a 500 because people are savages and they want to snap their wrists or whatever.
So, why is that? I mean,
I don't know. I am not a big fan of 500 Magnum. Right. It's just the caliber abuses you when you shoot it. It's like being in a bad relationship.
It's punchy.
It's violent.
But
people want it. And so you say you want it, we will make it for you.
So why is that? Well, that's another big thing with Taurus too, is the customer service implication on products and on future products.
Yeah.
That really shocks me.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Is like we're in this business to sell guns, not to make guns and tell you about them and then not sell them to you. So if there is enough of a demand where the customers say, "Make us this thing," we'll make you the thing. You know, and you said, make us a 500, so we did. And it's available in the 5.5, 6.5, and the 8.5 inch barrels. So I recommend if you're going to buy it, get the 8.5 inch.
I was just fixing to say that.
Could you,
if you value yourself, do the 8 inch.
The 5.5 looks like something The Rock would carry in a movie as like his backup gun, but.
I mean, that's the only guy that I would see would shoot that one-handed.
Oh. No, I actually shot our 500s for the first time at this range day for SHOT Show, and it's very punchy, but it is, because the barrel's all ported, it's still manageable. It's not going to you're not going to want to do like more than maybe 2 cylinders worth out of it, but it works, it's punchy, it hits where you want it to hit. But what was interesting in contrast to that kind of rolls into our next product, which is an extension of the 460 line. So
Thank goodness.
Yeah. So we introduced 460 last year at SHOT Show, and then this year we brought out the 10-inch version. Yeah. And the big difference between this and all of the other Raging Hunters is that it has this 1.5, 2-inch long compensator on it. Right. Like it looks like somebody unscrewed a rifle compensator
and stuck it on?
And stuck it onto this gun. So we designed that comp in-house.
That is slick.
It's really great, and I can tell you it makes shooting a 460 feel like a 44 Magnum.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, like, so you're shooting a powerful Magnum round, but with that comp on that gun, so at range day, I took one, loaded up 5 rounds. We had a 50-yard piece of steel, and just boom, boom, boom. You can shoot it about as fast as you can bring the gun back from recoil.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So
I would much rather shoot that 460 than any 500 Magnum.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
So I had a buddy, and he wanted to borrow a Raging Hunter 460. And so I was like, oh, yeah, you can take it on a hunt. He had never shot a handgun before.
Oh, boy.
So I loaded him up, and I said, hey, take it to the range, shoot it once or twice. Like, it's on. You need to verify it. So he sits there, and he goes out, and he sits there, and he dials in, boom, boom, shoots it. He's like, this kind of sucks, but I'm going to take it anyway. So he's sitting on a wheat field, and here comes the biggest buck he's seen on the wheat field, and he just a combination of not being familiar with how to shoot handguns and the buck coming in, and it's big, his heart's beating. So he sits there, boom, miss. Here, the deer runs closer, boom. Deer runs closer, boom. He wasted every shot he had. He gets back and he says, here, I do not want this thing. And I'm like, dude, you just need to spend more time with it.
That is the dumbest deer ever. Imagine running towards somebody with a 460 Magnum.
Yeah, I would never do that. I would not advised.
Well, so the cool thing about the new one is, like, obviously we've got the brake on it, which works really well. But what the piece that I really like, especially for that hunting aspect, is there's a bottom piece of pick rail on it. And that means you can clamp it into a tripod, shooting sticks, bipod, or something like that. So for your buddy who can't shoot, now he's got a stable shooting platform. So when that deer's coming in, all he has to do is keep the sights on it and not jerk the trigger too badly.
He's jerking. He's jerking
yeah, for sure.
trigger. He was just intimidated by the recoil, and something like a big break on the end of it is going to help you mitigate that recoil and that impulse of jerking that trigger.
Yeah, I've shot that gun a ton, and it's really great.
Yeah, and then just the trigger itself, it's a smooth pull all the way through. There's no hiccups, and it is a great one.
And it's a double action revolver, so I'm always telling people to try to shoot it double action.
Yes.
But I am also understanding of the fact that with those big hunting guns, most people are going to pull that hammer back. So the real nice trigger on that is going to be in that single action mode.
Oh, well,
so
always. That's how it always is. And there's not many people out there that can shoot a double action cleanly.
No,
they just don't spend a lot of time because we are covered in a semi-auto world.
Yeah, where everybody's got the 2.5 pound carry guns with this much take up in the trigger, which that's a whole different conversation.
Yes,
but
way different. We need to have that later.
Yeah. So it's funny. Like speaking of triggers, we can now talk about the Judge.
Thank you.
Okay.
We see how well this is flowing. This is flowing amazing.
I like working with professionals, KJ.
Where?
I guess
there's all professionals out there. I don't see one here except this guy.
So,
all right. Triggers.
If anybody has followed me for a long time, they know that I have been the biggest Judge hater in the universe.
Yes.
So when I found out that our next executive grade launch was going to be the Judge, I was skeptical, to say the least. I was like, how is the executive grade treatment going to affect this gun? And the first thing, and the thing that I've been telling everybody all weekend, if you're at SHOT Show and you're watching this, go to my booth, try the double action trigger pull.
Yeah.
Just pick it up and pull it. It is, I've put, I don't know, probably 250,000 rounds through revolvers, like double action revolvers over my career. It is in the top 3 of factory double action trigger pulls. Yeah, absolutely. Like, the Korth has a better double action trigger pull. The Korth also costs $5,000. It had better have a. If it does, it better be nice. Yeah, exactly. All right, it's cost literally $4,000 more than my gun, so it should be nicer. But it has a really good double action trigger pull because the things that make a double action bad are when you go through a smooth pull and then right at the end it gets crunchy and stacks up. It does not do that. Really? So when I took my sample, so I got it. They sent me one. When I took it out of the box, I was like, all right, how is this? Click. Holy cow, that's really good. Yeah. So then for me, the next thing was, I love that it shoots 410, right? A lot of people, that's their thing. For me, my first thing is, does it shoot 45 Colt well?
Yes.
So I grabbed a box of the American Eagle 225 grain jacketed soft point.
There, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
I probably wouldn't have made my first choice, but.
So it's what I also happen to have sitting in my closet.
Exactly.
And so I was like, I pulled some of that out, loaded it up, took it out at 25 yards. I'm like, will this stay on an A zone?
Yeah.
It does. All right. So then I shrank the distance because people forget, like, the Judge is a big gun, but it's technically a snub nose.
Right.
It's got a 3-inch barrel on it. So I shrank the distance to about 15 yards, double action only, keeps all 5 rounds in the black on a B8 target.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So what we did was we took a gun that I was not a fan of. We turned it into I'm
glad you admit it.
Yeah, no,
but read his shirt.
Yeah. And
that's what.
How many brand reps would actually say that?
Not many at all.
Right. But that was the thing. Before I started working here, part of it too was I never actually invested the time in really researching the gun, right?
Yeah.
And part of it too was it was easy to dunk on the sort of people on the internet that would talk about it, and so that was kind of what I did. And now
you're really good at it.
Thank you. I've got a skill set. Now that I've actually put the trigger time in the gun, and with the executive grade, what we did was we built a good 45 Colt revolver that shoots 410 shot shells as well.
Okay.
And it's and that's that starting point for me. This gun is a good 45 Colt revolver. So if you're out in the woods or something like that, and you want something that that you can shoot a mountain lion with as a personal protection gun, it fits mine. So if you take the executive grade grips off, which are really nice, and put a smaller profile grip on it, it'll fit in a Hill People Gear chest bag, stuff like that. Yeah. So if you're hiking or something, so you have this gun now that does the 45 Colt piece. It also does the 410 piece.
Yeah.
And another reason that I was kind of a hater on the Judge back in the day was when it first came out, the 410 ammo wasn't ready.
Right.
So all you had was like traditional birdshot and buckshot, and the rifling would grab the wad and it would spin it, and you'd get a circular pattern on the target. Now we actually have 410 ammo that's good.
Oh, TSS and
Right.
all that good stuff.
Can I say that Hornady's good on the show? You're going to be mad
heck
at
yeah.
So Hornady makes their critical defense 410 load. It's got a 40 caliber slug and then two 35 caliber round balls behind it.
Yeah.
And I walked that thing with my judge. I have this on video. I started at 7, walked it back to 25 yards, and at 25 yards, it would still keep all 3 projectiles on a silhouette target.
A silhouette.
Yeah, absolutely. And at 7 yards, it was a nightmare. It was like you're shooting like A zones, like 3 bullets in the A zone all at once. I'm like, okay, that's really cool.
I mean, Hornady makes some good stuff.
Hornady makes really good stuff. Yeah,
but it takes a good gun.
It does. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, the executive grade judge, it was the gun. It's like the redemption story for me,
Yeah.
And I know someone will say, hey, the judge has always been good. I believe you now. Like, if you had a great judge before this, to all of the people who loved the judge and I was mean to you on the internet, I am sorry, all right?
We got a public apology.
I was wrong. Turns out your gun actually was pretty good at some stuff, and I was just a jerk.
Okay.
There we go. Look at that.
I'll let you. So
everybody says being a dad has changed me, so.
A little
bit.
I mean, you're still the right amount of sassy.
There is sassy. Ooh, I like that one.
So let's talk about the next evolution of revolvers.
So
and this is probably, for me, this is probably one of the biggest ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think. Because this hadn't been done before.
No. I mean, if you wanted to put an optic on a revolver before this, you could either put a giant pick rail on it and then put another mount on it so your height over bore is like this and you're trying to aim it down here looking through the optic. And there were aftermarket solutions where you could replace the rear sight, buy a plate, do all of that, and you would still end up with a lot of height over bore. Yeah. And so back in that 2020 meeting that would eventually turn into the executive grade, one of the side conversations that I had was put an optic on a revolver. No one is doing this. It's a simple engineering solution. So, at least I'm not an engineer, so to me, it's a simple engineering solution.
It's fine. Just do it.
Yeah, just do the thing. Do the thing. What happened was we did the thing. So this year we launched the Optics Ready revolvers, and what we did was we took our 856 and our 605 Defender. So it's a 3-inch steel frame revolver, either 38 Special 6-shooter or a 357 Magnum 5-shot, and we put an optic on it. The frame itself, and how we do it is instead of doing something where you have to replace a part or something, the frame is directly drilled for it.
Okay.
So we drill the frame, you put the plate on. The plate actually interfaces with the rear sight notch, so it sits down in it, and then you mount the optic on top of it. So the difference in if I was aiming with the iron sights, here's my presentation, here's me aiming with the optic.
Yeah.
It's maybe, it's a quarter of an inch of movement, something like that. So the dot sits low, so you can actually, so instead of having to fish around for the dot, it's like people will be like, why would you put a red dot on a revolver?
Right.
Why would you put it on any other gun?
Why not?
Yeah. First off, I like shooting with both eyes open. I like being able to look at the thing that I'm shooting instead of the front sight. So why wouldn't I put it on a revolver?
Right. And you're carrying these.
Yes. So we haven't. So
that's what shocks me because I get every time I watch his channel, I'm like, what's he doing now? And you're carrying these revolvers.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been carrying. So since I started with this job, the only time I haven't carried a Taurus revolver has been I had to do a 12-hour drive and I had an ankle gun on. So I didn't have anything that fit my ankle holster. So I was like, all right, I got to get a gun for this ankle holster now so I can change that one up.
Through the G3 Toro or something like that.
Yeah, so we've got and that's the cool thing too. So it's we've done all of this cool stuff on the revolver side, and we're also doing really interesting stuff on the semi-auto side. Our other new launch here that we don't have a picture of is the TX22 Compact. Yep. So we took everybody loves the TX22 because we built a 16-round full-size 22 that runs.
Yes.
So then we're
just about every ammo.
Yeah, and then we're let's just make it smaller. So we built the TX22 Compact, which is 13 rounds. It's red dot ready, slide-mounted red dot, suppressor ready.
How come we don't have a picture of this?
I don't know. It was on the SHOT Show New Products website, so it was easy to get. Can we just glare at your producer and be like, why don't you have a picture of that?
Definitely don't blame Benjamin.
Okay.
This is probably all on me. Well, dude, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
This is big news from Taurus, and if you guys we have said it, I think, on our show every time we've talked about them ever since Brett came on and ever since they moved to Georgia. This is not Taurus of old.
No, it really
isn't.
Doesn't
represent what it was. Like, this is a whole new ball game. So give them a look.
Yeah. If you want to check us out online, you go to taurususa.com. And if you want to buy accessories for any of your existing guns, shoptaurus.com.
Exactly. Find it there, guys. Hey, we'll be back. We've got a special guest at 1 o'clock. You're not going to see KJ. You're going to see Tom Gresham, and he's talking with Adam Kraut. So 1 o'clock, be here, be back, because you're going to want to hear what they have to talk about.
For more great gun content, subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages. You can also watch the Gun Talk channels on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon. And of course, you can always find us at guntalk.com. Thanks for watching.